I may have some commentary after watching the video if I hear anything that I wasn't expecting, and maybe I won't. We'll see. But nonetheless, here's a video. Enjoy.
News alert now. Disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison. That came down this morning in New York State Supreme Court. He was convicted earlier, of course, of rape and sexual assault. Alex Hogan is live outside the New York State Supreme Court with more details. Alex, good morning.
Good morning, Ed. This sentence just coming out minutes ago. We know that Harvey Weinstein is sentenced to 23 years behind bars, and then he will have 5 years of post-release supervision. For the very first time, we heard Harvey Weinstein actually address the court. He hasn't done this throughout the trial. He was saying that these were all extramarital affairs and that these were friendships, and he was protecting these women. But this has been an emotional morning for all of the women in court behind me. More than 90 women came forward through these years saying that he sexually assaulted them, whether it was recently or decades ago. And those women, the two women at the cornerstone of the case, were able to address the court themselves today, saying that all of this really coming as a weight on them and the PTSD, the depression that they suffered in the years following that. So again, here, again, the breaking news that we should tell you if you're just joining us, 23 years, that is the sentence that Harvey Weinstein will now face as a result of this. Those women addressing the court saying that the 67-year-old changed the course of their future, warping what they identified as and, again, their relationships with people. These newly unsealed documents that we received this week shows the final efforts by the movie mogul to try to shape the future of what this court case would look like in the scandal. His defense team also making a last-ditch effort to try to get the minimum sentence, but again, we know that that was not allowed. He will face 23 years behind bars. Weinstein is currently in a wheelchair. The last time that he left the court, he actually went to the hospital instead of going to jail. That was because he had to undergo heart surgery. He's also suffering from a back surgery, and that's why we saw him time and time again in the courthouse entering with a walker, but again, now leaving in a wheelchair. We likely will not see him here. However, we are expected to hear from the defense team as well as the accusers' lawyers. So, Ed, a lot coming out of this, and we'll be
A
here
lot coming down indeed. 23 years in prison is the bottom line. Alex Hogan, thank you for those details.
I reckon I will give some commentary. So again, my channel is not about bashing victims, and my channel is not about bashing women. I just want to make that clear. So 90 women have come out to, according to this video, 90 women have come out to basically speak out against Weinstein. And I know there was a similar amount of women that came out against Cosby. And I know Cosby, I really didn't believe all of the women that came out in Cosby. And if you listen to some of the stories was he tried to kiss me. So obviously that's not a sexual abuse or a rape allegation, but the media presented as such. There was another story where a woman said that Cosby masturbated behind her, and that's probably a pretty bad one, right? That's probably a pretty bad one because is indecent exposure. If it's true, I don't know that it's true. I can't say that I didn't necessarily disbelieve that story. And for the most part, I didn't believe the Adrienne Constance story. The story with her is that he gave her some aspirin or something like that. And then she basically claims that she was knocked out and she couldn't move. Something about that, the way she presented it, I didn't believe her, but that's not to say it's not true. But again, my channel is not about bashing victims. It's not about bashing women. So I'm just going to let it sit for what it is, take it for what it is. And I'm just going to say that in Weinstein's case, 90 women came out. In Cosby's case, it's kind of an old thing. Women came out. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Again, I'm not bashing women and I'm not bashing victims. My channel is really about law. And from that perspective, both these guys have gone to trial and they've been convicted. So let's see what happens on appeal with Cosby. And let me just get to Weinstein now. So with Weinstein, I don't know. He seems like a pretty old guy, and he got 23 years plus a possible 5 years on probation, if I can remember the story correctly. You know what? So for me, I think that they are definitely trying to send a message. Again, they're convicting people with no facts, no evidence, and no toxicology report. And it's all about people coming forth and making accusations. Now, some of you may have heard of this concept of jumping on the bandwagon, and human beings are intelligent, and they find a way to attack on a sophisticated level, right? If just even animals do it, right? If animals see blood and they're predators, right? So if you're a lion and you're going in one direction and you're trying to essentially take down your prey, and you believe you're not going to be successful, but out of the corner of your eyes you see another lion take down a prey and blood is gushing out, automatically, instinctively, you're going to stop what you're doing and then you're going to rush over to where the blood is. The same thing with sharks in sensing blood in the water. So on that same token, if I was dating someone, right, and I'm a predator, and I see that many men have come out and said that this person, I see that guys are coming out and saying, hey, she slipped me a Mickey. I fell out. I woke up. I had no clothes on, and I was wet down there, and she was basically putting her clothes back on. So automatically, if I'm a predator, I'm going to jump on the bandwagon and I'm going to say, well, heck, she did that to me too, right? So you get this situation where people is jumping on the bandwagon because they know that there's going to be a payout eventually. So again, I'm not saying all the alleged victims are doing this, but essentially, you even if most of them are true, you're going to have some bad actors in that situation.